meeting for this evening. Time in at 6:55. Roll call, please.
Dr. Scott Kelly?
Yes.
Rich Dobda?
Yes.
Linda Boving?
Yes.
Roger White, yes. Whitmore Dell?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse David Craycraft and Pete Lynch from tonight's meeting.
I'll second.
Roll call. We had a second there by
Yes, with.
Whit. Roll call, Roger White, yes. Linda Boving?
Yes.
Whitmore Dell?
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly?
Yes.
Rich Dobda?
Yes. Can I get an approval of minutes for December 19th, 2023?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December the 19th.
I'll second that.
Roll call. Rich Dobda?
Yes.
Pete Lynch, or Dr. Scott Kelly?
Yes.
Roger White, yes. Whitmore Dell?
Yes.
Linda Boving?
Yes.
I'd like to take a timeout for election of officers.
So we're going to the election. I remember this.
Mr. Acting Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we elect Pete Lynch as chairman for 2024, David Craycraft as vice chairman for 2024, and Rich Dobda as secretary for 2024.
I'll second that.
Roll call. Dr. Scott Kelly?
Yes.
Linda Boving?
Yes.
Rich Dobda?
Yes.
Whitmore Dell?
Yes.
Roger White, yes.
All right, moving on to pending applications. We have CA-24-001. Is the applicant here? You guys can step up to the podium and sign in there.
So the application, first on tonight's agenda, is to replace the windows on this single-family home. For a kind of brief history of this property here, this house was constructed from our records between 1868 and 1872. It's been on the National Register since 1989. From what I could find with the historic inventory of the home here, it looks like that the only two times this property's been to the Landmarks Commission was in 1995 for new rear porch, and then in August of 2009 to remove the existing metal roof for new asphalt shingles. It looks like at that time this home had originally cedar shake shingles on the roof, and they actually covered it with the metal, so that was something that was uncovered in 2009. But that metal roof was about 50 years old at the time when it was taken off. The applicant this evening is seeking approval to replace the wood 2/2 windows with an aluminum storm window, and replace the aluminum storm windows with new Aspect AP 500 series SDL vinyl windows. The applicant has put together application here. It shows photographs of the outside and damage on the inside, as well as the 3 statement items here on the request for new window replacement. All the photos have been provided in your packet. I just have a couple here on the screen to highlight. Again, the applicant has provided photos of the exterior showing there are aluminum storms here, particularly on the second floor. Some damage on the wood windows. Kind of this photo here facing out, you can see they have like a towel kind of keeping some of that insulation in the window. In addition, you can see the aluminum storms also on this window. Looking at another window here, this isn't this window, but you can see some of the windows are operating correctly. And then this one, again, another scenario where kind of windows busted, and they have, attempted to try to create some of the insulation factor back at the windows. The windows the applicant are requesting are a simulated divided light grid. Applicant indicated they would snap in the existing sashes. They're not looking to change in the exterior trim on the home with the installation. Any questions? The applicant's here to help answer for you guys.
New windows will be white.
Yes.
And they're able to make them the exact size of the
Yes.
openings?
Yes.
So there won't be any additional trim or anything?
No.
Won't be any wraps on the trim
No.
that goes around.
No.
They say they were true divided. Simulated, yeah. Do we want true divided?
A couple of these photos look like the sills have some damage to them. Are those going to be replaced?
Oh, not at this time.
No.
Down
There's
the line,
one-
yeah.
There's one here with the sill that looks like it's got nails with rusty nails on it. And I would be hope that those would be replaced with wood as opposed to being wrapped with
Yes.
aluminum.
That's correct, yeah.
Are they wood or stone?
They're wood.
Just above the stone.
Just
Some of
above.
the close-up pictures show.
Oh,
up
yeah,
there.
those two right there.
That photo you're looking at, I think these photos you're seeing, Roger, is the aluminum storms. Is that like a spacer plate
He's right about this,
underneath the
That
storm?
could be a spacer plate.
Yeah.
So it's possible the new windows will go all the way down to that?
Yes.
When you guys were working with your contractor, did you guys explore any other material options for the windows besides vinyl?
Yes, yeah, we explored wood. The exterior of the wood would have been encased in vinyl, but the wood option would have been an extra $20,000. So that was why we didn't go with that.
What about a true divided window? Did they talk about a true divided?
Mm-mm. No,
options?
that wasn't mentioned.
Well, I'm okay with the windows with the 2/2. My only concern is the casing around that it remains, I'm pretty sure this is wood
Mhm.
casing, that it not be wrapped with aluminum.
Sure. Gotcha.
Andrew, in that exact area, are there vinyl windows been replaced?
Yeah, the vinyl windows have been, I guess, slowly being replaced around town here to replace the wood windows. This, we don't have too many, I guess, all brick homes in the community that come before, the commission for, like, Member White was saying with the casings, around them, the framing between them, and just for your guys' benefit, I kind of marked up, what he was talking about for the casing around it. It's those three places where that's actually like a frame that kind of holds the window in place.
Yeah,
And so window companies sometimes want to wrap that in aluminum.
Gotcha.
And keep the woodwork that's there.
Okay.
So,
and we're saying we don't want that, correct?
yeah, they can either replace
We
that with
want
new
to-
wood
We
or
want to
just
retain
paint
the
that.
wood
Correct, okay,
Okay.
yes.
and,
Yeah.
and not have it aluminum clad.
Right, yeah. From what we understood from our contractor, they made a point to say they wouldn't mess with any trimming, casing. They said they would truly just replace the window and fit it right in.
And it looks like they're all two size. I mean, you have a bunch that are like within a couple inches of the sizes in your packet too.
Yeah.
Andrew, have we approved any of the simulated divided light windows grids?
Yeah, the SDL's the typical, window grid that
Okay.
gets approved.
Okay.
In the 9 years I've been here, I haven't seen a true divided light window that comes through for the commission's review.
Okay.
The SDL's one that grids on the outside of the glass, the middle, and the inside.
Okay, gotcha.
Anything else for the applicants? Roger, would you like to motion with your,
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approved CA 24-001 as presented.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Did you want any condition for the casing to remain?
Yeah, I want to make a condition that the casings remain in the natural wood, painted, of course, but not be wrapped. Roll call, Linda Bovee,
Yes.
Rich Dobda,
yes?
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Roger White, yes. Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The next application on tonight's agenda is CA 24-002. Address is 118 West Columbus Street. The request this evening is for a new rear addition on the subject property. The proposed addition is approximately 595 square feet, single story. It'll involve some demolition of the existing deck and part of a rear addition on the home. Applicant has provided photographs. This residential home was constructed around 1910. Currently, it has a aluminum siding on it that is in green. I've never seen aluminum siding that has so much visual texture to it, so I thought that was interesting in these photographs provided. But you can see here kind of the four elevations. This portion of the back of the home here is being modified with the addition, so you can see that in the floor plan. Moving on to the rear here, you can see this covered porch awnings being removed. This is part of that rear addition that's getting modified, and the deck's being removed. The applicant does note that they would like to keep and reuse these double doors that are currently on the rear of the home in the new addition, and then the windows that are being proposed for the home are a new 1/1 vinyl by Rosati. Again, this is kind of like that photograph I was talking about that shows a lot of the texture in the siding. With the demolition plan, again, the wood deck and railings being removed, reusing the double doors shown in the previous slide. Part of that rear addition is getting removed, while the existing half bath, those two walls are remaining just being reworked for a new pantry. Kind of showing here the proposed addition on a site plan. You can see that it extends about 32 feet away from the existing kind of main portion of the home, about 26 feet 4 inches wide. The new addition will have a new deck off of the side and another deck off of the rear that you can see here on the drawings. I'm kind of looking at the east elevation first. These two components here that have the horizontal siding profiles, that's the addition. The applicant is showing that they want to remove the aluminum siding and windows and windows trim from the whole home to put a new composite siding so it'll match. The composite siding is shown to have a 6-inch lap profile, and then they're showing for the new addition it's going to be a metal roof. The applicant indicated that the details for like the colors and materials for the siding and roofing was supposed to be at tonight's meeting.
I'm right here, yeah. This is the siding, I don't know. See it?
And then the details here for the new deck are shown with the wood or composite deck railing. They are showing a composite lattice being underneath the deck. And then this one, I call this more of a porch. It won't have any railing, just will have steps down to grade. Looking at the west elevation here, you can see the new windows and siding they're putting in. One of the windows will be a box-in window, not a 1/1 like the rest. And then looking at the rear, you can see the rear deck that's going on, and we're using existing doors that are there currently. Do you have any questions? Property owners here to help answer any questions. Applicant couldn't make it this evening, so any questions? Ms. Hilbert has everything that you need, hopefully.
Do you know if the metal roofing is that standing seam?
I just know it's supposed to match what's on the,
I'm sure he'll do
on the
that.
garage.
Okay,
It's-
well-
Yeah, Dave.
Match the garage?
So the garage has a metal roof that was just replaced a few years ago, so it'll be the same color. It's a gray. I don't know what the seam is. This is the extent of my knowledge of, I just say yes a lot.
Did the roof come before us?
No, I know Mr. Craycroft said that he was supposed to have those details for tonight for discussion. He's not here tonight, so I guess if there's anything, up in the air about that, you guys do have the ability to table it for it to come back. That way those items do come. And at least you have a better understanding of what these guys are looking for tonight as well. That's the siding that you have
This
there?
is the siding,
Okay.
yes.
That's gonna be the color on the
This,
old
on the
section
whole
and new
house,
section.
yeah, it's gonna, the whole thing is
Make it
gonna be
all-
redone.
What color are you looking for the trim?
White,
White?
And the gutters will be,
white.
they'll be the K-type or the round.
I don't know. In all honesty, Dave has handled all of it. Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And you'll remove the shutters on the front?
Shutters will get removed, but they'll be replaced. Like, that's gonna be the same shutters.
Just put it back on.
Yeah,
What color are the shutters?
white. The reason it's tonal is because it's so old and it's been hit by so much stuff. Like, that's why it's tonal. It's not because it was designed that way, it's just old, the aluminum siding.
Is the new siding you're putting on, is it textured or smooth? Textured?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna take a picture of this.
Do you need to keep it?
I can give it back to you.
You
I just
want
want
to table it?
to add it to my,
Table it,
Unfortunately,
get more
Google was
answers
8
from-
years ago that it did your streets, so.
Yeah, it's old, so.
Thank you.
I can see the garage, and it did have a metal roof on it, but
Yeah.
you can tell it's been replaced since then.
And the awning that's on the, what would that, one side, on that side door, that's going to be removed?
Yes.
Okay. When did you plan on starting construction?
I think the goal was March is the
March.
goal, but it's dependent on the weather.
Well, we have two options. We can table it until the next meeting in February, or could we approve it with something in regards to the roofing material? I don't know if there's any other questions I have.
Since the questions are minor, if David could supply those, could we approve with those conditions, and then we could see them in between, just so that we don't further delay, or is it best to table?
I think if the question's on the roofing material, you can approve the application with the condition that the applicant comes back to the next month's meeting with roofing. That way you can keep rolling with your plans. Because the roofing pitch will stay the same, truss will stay the same, but that way you can figure out the material next meeting.
What about the gutters?
Well, the gutters are one of the last things to be put up.
The gutters are a K-style on the house now.
But he said,
Didn't know that, but thank you for the, they're leaky.
So they are going to be replaced.
Yeah, they have to be replaced, so.
Sure, he'll probably have a larger gutter on them, probably.
All I care about is the pantry, I'm not gonna lie, like the rest of it's just like bonus, I just really want a pantry.
I think we
mean,
just
that's.
table it. I think we just table it. I think we just table it. David here's to answer everything. He's the one that's got to keep on
Only
schedule.
the additions getting new windows, not the whole house.
Correct,
Okay.
the house, that got windows 15 years ago.
Okay.
Go ahead and make it.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to table CA 24-002 until next month.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call. Linda Bowden,
yes.
Rich Dobden,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Roger White. Yes.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thanks.
The last application on tonight's agenda is CA 24003. The address of subject property is 20 South High Street. This is a new application for the remodel project that the City of Canal Winchester Industry and Commerce Corporation is doing for the old eye doctor office there. The request this evening is for some of the exterior remodel details. Last month, Landmarks Commission approved the exterior demo for the 1970s renovation that's on the front of the building. Again, this demo was approved in the last month. You can see here some of the features that will be removed with the mansard roof, the faux brick, cutting in new windows, cutting in the windows that used to be there on the south elevation, removing a addition on this side, kind of bringing back the windows and doors to style when the building was constructed as a gas station back in the 50s. The plans provided by the architect show that the existing block, when looking at the inside of the facility, had a lot of sporadic infill over time. So rather than trying to expose the original block on the front, putting in a white thin brick to face the front of the building. The brick and mortar color have been provided. On either end where there are currently, this is a current window opening, adding one to match on the opposite side, doing something that mimics the old garage door kind of feel to the window openings by having these 6 panels. The windows and doors would be in the raw aluminum material, something a little different that's, more industrial in design. Keeping the double door in the middle, and then the kind of right-hand side double door will change to a single door and a set of 4 windows to match. Over the kind of the southeast kind of portion of the building is the primary tenant space. That will have fabric awnings. The striped awning sample has been provided. On the right-hand side, kind of secondary, that portion of the building kind of pushes back. We'll have a metal canopy over top. And then the idea here was to bring in sort of like a detailed accent band to kind of bring back some of this old Sunoco station design elements. This accent band, I think, is going to change from this. We'll come back with what the changes are going to be. But this is kind of the idea here, to give something with a different profile to help kind of break the elevation up. When looking at the south elevation, the windows that used to be there were 4 foot by 4 foot square. So cutting those back in, I'm having those be the raw aluminum frame to match. Looking at the rear elevation here, a new black awning, painting all the trim black, and then the aluminum coil wrap for the flat roof will all be painted black to match across. And then the sides and rear of the building that is block will be painted to match the brick up front. Lucas is here to answer any questions you guys have about the details. Site plan has been provided to show kind of what these elements look like and where they are on the building. And then we did staff did a rendering here to kind of show what these elements look like in color to give you a better idea. This was with the announcement that Johnson's Ice Cream is going in this space. Then I just threw the photo here in the bottom right corner to kind of show, this is what the building looked like when it was a Sunoco station. This was a metal awning system then, but kind of show some of the striped elements are being brought back. The big garage doors, trying to bring some of that style back with the window choices. So any questions, Lucas is here to help answer.
Andrew, we're not being asked to approve a sign for it tonight?
No, I just
mean,
threw
your
the-
rendering has a sign there.
Yeah, I just put that on the rendering for the announcement that to the tenant was. That's completely conceptual at this point.
So there's going to be one tenant, but it has 2 front doors,
Yes.
correct?
There'll be 2 doors on the front, 1 tenant.
Okay.
And in this rendering, the signage, they haven't finalized their signage package yet. Sean Bogan, right, for architects here. Sean, well, the awnings, is that what they settled on, the black valance and the,
So they said they would prefer to have the open ends. They like the valance at the bottom. So if they do the stripes would go all the way down, and then the ends would be open. Because they're worried if they try to make the stripes go around the end, that they won't look right, which I agree with. Because, the angle's not gonna match up with that, so.
yeah, so it'll be open ends on those awnings.
Yeah, the decision hadn't been made when I submitted, so.
Yeah. And the patio will not be in this configuration, so we won't have that same fence. This rendering just shows carrying that fence through. It would actually be a low brick seating wall, which will match the brick column and the limestone cap that's there in Stradley Place. But we'll be back later with the patio once that's finalized. So EMH&T, who's another, our civil engineers, is doing the patio work. So we'll be back later.
Lucas, how much seating do they plan on having inside?
I believe they're gonna seat,
Ballpark's fine.
yeah, it's gonna be around 50.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, so they'll have a seating bar down the whole south wall of the building. And so it'll be like a bar top with stools, so you can sit there and look out on the Stradley Place. The north side of the building, that will be a lot of large booths for bigger parties. They get a lot of youth sports teams, things like that want to all come sit together. And then there'll be, 2 top tables and 4 top tables on this side
Sounds like
as well.
fun.
How do you guys feel about the silver extrusion pieces on the windows and doors?
Material, the thought behind that was the original building was that same color. And so trying to recreate as much of that as possible. It was a large storefront on the north half of the building and then the garage doors on the south half of the building. So trying to replicate that with kind of the design and the layout and then material wise as well, using that. We contemplated going with a darker color, but the black and white is just, there's too much of it around. I think it'll date itself too quickly. And then this accent band, the idea behind that is, you know, a lot of the old fuel stations had like a rounded band around the top. If you look at like the older Sahio stations, the Texaco stations had 3 lines. So it's trying to recreate that. The reason we ended up with this profile, there was a specific old gas station that I liked that had something similar. As Andrew mentioned, we're still exploring options there, so we may come back with something other than that. But the idea is to get some type of accent across the top of that building, so it's not just a blank brick wall. You know, so having lots of different elements to create interest on the front of the building with the awnings, you know, the striped awnings. You'll obviously have signage there as well, but trying to get something that's up higher to kind of break up that empty wall plane.
Will there be any exterior lighting? And you're not showing anything in any of the drawings?
There'll be lighting over the doors, Sean, right? Because that's code required.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have, we call it a remote head, like, it's, you know, emergency exit, but as far as, you know, part of it is they're developing the site, is there gonna be any lighting in there too, so.
There's street lights out front, but no, there won't be other lighting on the front of the building.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the exterior, for the patrons that are outside on the patio, there will not be any lighting for them?
There'll be street lighting.
Street lighting, okay. And of course, once you come in with the sign, there'll be lighting on the sign also.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
The total indoor seating is 38.
I just was noticing in the photo that whatever this, I don't even know where this is at, looks familiar, but the windows all have black, and then the doors are still blue.
Okay.
And again, not that this is what we should go by, but I
Right.
do kind of like the black on the windows. But I agree, it's a lot of black and white.
That photo's a little unfortunate because the full-scale photo of the building, that left half you can see has the black trim, the right half you can't see is actually all silver trim. It was just cropped to fit the page.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like the silver would be more appropriate, like you were saying, for the time period. I mean, if we're trying to, you know, bring something back that's older, it would be more likely be silver than a bronze.
Yeah. The metal awnings will be black. We will have there's an optional downspout. We will have the downspout that comes down the building there as well, which will also be black on the kit for that awning.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome. Really good choices. Anybody else? I'll make a motion to approve,
See you.
CA-24-003.
I'll second.
Roll call. Dr. Scott Kelly?
Yes.
Rich Dobda?
Yes.
Linda Boving?
Yes.
Whit Wardell?
Yes.
Roger White, yes.
Thank you. In terms of old, new business, for old business, the appeal for the variance for the Joe Vino signage at 54 West Waterloo Street, that will be going to City Council for their review on February 5th. If anybody wants to tune in online for that. That, again, just as a reminder, that process started as an administrative approval for a like-for-like sign face change, that turned into a change of materials, that got appealed to Planning and Zoning Commission, that went to a variance to Planning and Zoning Commission, that is now being appealed to Planning and Zoning Commission's decision to City Council. It's probably every step it could take at this point. But if you guys have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. Again, that's on February 5th. For other old and new business, I don't think I really have anything in terms of stuff that's coming up. Like I said at the beginning, before the meeting here, Mr. Kirkcraft knew he was going to be out tonight, so, sorry he couldn't make it. Had some family things to take care of. Don't have anything else, unless you guys do?
Whose is this?
That's mine.
Okay. The project on Trine, where they're redoing the
Yes.
porch, is that all completed yet, or?
It's not completed yet, but it's very close. The only thing they're missing is to do at least I drove by and took a quick glance. There's a band board missing in between the brick columns at the bottom. Once they get that installed, then it's, I believe, complete. But I went and I sent them, I actually measured out and marked up what height the railing should be, what material, what dimensions, because they were still confused on how to get it constructed per the approval letter. So I actually detailed it out for them and sent to them, and it looks pretty close to what I sent them. So I thought that was good, and it seems to meet the intent of what you guys approved last February, I think is
Yeah.
when they have to get it completed.
I noticed the sign in front of the mill in front of the schoolhouse.
Yes,
And where are they on that?
the mill project.
Yes.
They are, I think, still working on structurally bracing the foundations to that building. And then they still need to go back and do more of these siding replacements. But I think they just wrapped up the roof before the weather got real bad before the holidays. Linda can probably tell you more, and maybe Rich. I think both of you sit on the board.
I am no longer.
No. Yeah, I would ask Linda for any questions at the end of this meeting if you have any.
My insulin alarm's going on, I'm sorry. I can't make it stop. Hold on. Okay, hopefully that's.
Anything else?
Okay.
What, there's a lot of the temporary folding signs that are popping up in town. Is that something that we have jurisdiction over, or?
The A-frame,
Yeah,
like the sidewalk signs?
yeah,
Yeah.
that are, and are they only allowed to be up for a certain period of time, or? Because I've noticed a lot of businesses are keeping them up for a lot.
Yeah, so the sidewalk signage is permitted in our sign code without a permit, as long as it meets the criteria outlined in our code. The intent for the sign is that they're only supposed to be out when the business is open, and to help identify the businesses open or closed. If you're finding that they're outside of those hours, let me know and I'll reach out to the
Do they have a limit on
property
how
owners.
many they can have out?
They can have one.
Okay.
The business over top of the Harvest Moon, with the lighting that's going on in there, with the skeletons in the windows, and there's nothing that can be done about that?
It's literally like green and red and blue flashing lights all night long.
Yeah, the practice dummies that they have up there, it's not signage, so it's nothing we can regulate. And the lighting is not a sign that's facing outside of the window, it's just an aesthetic choice. That would be a landlord issue, I would imagine. Talk to landlord.
We had talked at one point about hire someone who was going to go around and check to see if people had permits for the work that they were doing. Have we proceeded on that in any way?
No, that would be a city council process where you're talking about having someone code enforcement that would make sure you had approval from landmarks to do work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that would be a city council directive, they, I know are talking and they're interested about hiring someone for code enforcement. There's trade-offs for doing it and not doing it, but it's definitely something that's on their radar that they're, I think, still actively talking about.
It had been a while since we talked about it, so I
Yeah.
just wondered if we were headed in that direction.
No, they haven't made any just permanent decisions on that yet. I believe we have something in our 5-year staffing plan for a part-time person, though, just to plan for it ahead of time.
Anybody else? Make a motion to adjourn at, what do we got here, 7:36?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Linda Bovee,
Yes?
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Roger White, yes. Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Rich Dobda.
Yes.